Hello. You might be wondering what the hell we're doing in a muddy field like this, so open and so vast. I'm here with Marcus.
Hi, Daniel. Welcome to the field.
This is probably one of the weirdest things we've done, and we've done a lot of weird stuff on both my channel and yours.
Yeah.
Before we begin, I may as well say where we are, because otherwise it won't make sense. You've seen by the title, there's a brand new theme park coming to the UK, and we all know that it is a Universal Studios park. And this field is exactly where it's going to be. We are currently sat on the field that Universal Studios Bedford or Universal Studios Great Britain is going to be. It's weird, isn't it?
Well, the car park.
Well, yes, you know what I mean.
Yes, Daniel, you're so right. This is the plot of the car parks, and over there, as you see that tree line over there, can you see that tree line? Do you see that tree line?
Yeah.
That tree line is the theme park.
If they build like a tall roller coaster or maybe like a massive warehouse for a dark ride, you'll be able to see it from here because this will literally be the car park. We have sort of asked people if we're all right to be here. Two farmers that I think used to own this land or something came across. They couldn't say much, which is interesting, but they did tell us that this is like a public footpath to the right and we should be fine here. So
It's a public footpath across the field.
yeah, there's like a yellow post or whatever.
Yeah, we are fine.
Yeah, we're all good. But first thing is, of course, we're sat here right now, and of course we've seen that Universal or Comcast is, I guess, the company that owns it.
Yes, that is correct.
They've bought houses nearby. I've mentioned that a few times on my channel. They've also sort of just made a lot of trademarks and like website names and stuff have come about. Do you think this is actually going to happen?
I think it's 100% going to happen. The Bedford Council, I can't point with this because it's my audio. The Bedford Council, Bedford is in that direction, by the way. Bedford Council are 100% on board. They saw the news and were like, we're so back. Bedford on board. Farmers on board. Land
On board.
on board.
There's too much that's sort of gone right with this project for it to not happen now. If that makes sense? Like, I don't think, for instance, London Resort, that in Kent, whatever, that was supposed to happen ages ago now. That didn't go through all this government stuff. The leaders of the council were saying...
Jumping spiders, isn't it?
And yeah, the jumping spiders.
Wait, watch out!
So yeah, with London Resort technically never having this sort of backing from the government, and even though it had this monetary backing, it never really seemed like it was going to happen. Whereas this just has everything pointing towards it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, London Resort didn't buy houses and board them up, kick people out of their homes like absolute savages. But we're talking about a theme park here, which is way more important.
I don't think I'll stop saying it throughout this entire episode and series, because this is actually becoming a series. We're going to come here throughout multiple times, because we don't live too far. Like, for instance, Thorpe Park and stuff, when Hyperion was being built, or Nemesis Reborn when that was being built, we're not exactly near any of those parks, Towers or Thorpe. But we're both pretty near here, I'd say.
Don't dox us.
We're not doxing ourselves, but we're not exactly far from this location. So, you know, it's our only chance to really see, especially a Universal theme park, it's our only chance to really see a brand new theme park be built from scratch, if it does happen.
Let's talk competition.
Well, are we having a competition, or what's going on?
If you like and subscribe, you'll get a free t-shirt.
Subscribe! You know what? Let's do it. Subscribe. Free t-shirt. Now we're just promising people things when... Anyway, if this does happen, you did mention competition, and I assume this is where you were going, but we're too stupid to stay on track. Competition-wise, do we reckon this is going to, if it does happen, be a force to be reckoned with other UK theme parks and European ones? So, you know, Alton Towers and Thorpe Park, like we mentioned, or even like Blackpool, Drayton Manor, will they suffer from this, or will they do better?
I think we all in the UK think about Alton Towers, Thorpe Park. I think the biggest hit will go to Disneyland Paris. If you look around the world, you've got Disney and Universal sort of hugging each other as neighbours. And in a Europe sense, they're going to be hugging just across the pond.
I mean, again, Orlando, everyone goes for Disney or Universal. Some people obviously go for both, but there's definitely that divide, I think. Whereas I think that will become a thing when you've got Universal Great Britain and Disneyland Paris, because they'll be so easily accessible, like you said.
Yeah.
So that is interesting.
If you're
But what about the UK? or the world?
UK theme parks.
I don't know about you. I think they'll actually do better as a result of it.
Tell me more.
I think a lot of people think that, you know, these parks elsewhere that aren't this Universal Park that's potentially coming over there, I think a lot of people sort of theorise they'll lose visitor numbers and stuff. But I think it'll bring so many people over from other places in the world that it just won't. I think they'll go up.
It's all about factors. If you think about factors like ticket cost,
That's very true.
you know, we've seen potentially a hit to the theme park industry because potentially people aren't spending as much money going out to theme parks these days. So if Universal come in and an expensive theme park, which, let's be honest,
They will be.
they will be an expensive
Florida,
theme park.
I think my brother went there recently, and to do 1 day at Islands of Adventure was $120. So that's about what, £100, just under, something like that. So it's
Yeah.
going to be expensive. It's not going to be 20 quid on the door or whatever. It'll be spenny.
Plus, I mean, well, the thing is to consider is that Universal has gone to other parts of the world. They've gone to Asia,
Yeah.
they're in Japan, and it's like they had to change their ticket price to suit the culture over there.
Yeah. So they might do it again. They might do it again.
We could see them try to align with the ticket price of what people spend in the UK, potentially, or maybe not. We'll just have to wait and see. What are you looking at?
There's flies floating around our picnic bag.
Get the sandwiches! No! Universal Studios cancelled for rare species of fly.
It's going to be a big thing. Universal. This is going to be the car park. There's obviously over that tree line we said the coasters and the rides. There'll probably be City Walk as well, which if you don't know what City Walk is, it's just a massive area of shops and dining.
I don't think people realise just how massive the infrastructure that needs to be built will be, because not only is this field the car park, or so we think.
Has to be as big as third of your theme park, I got told by a wise man.
City Walk, theme park over there, but that's not where it ends. We've got the Thameslink train line, which goes to London St Pancras and Luton Airport. That's over that tree line over there, and they want to build a brand new, enormous station to accommodate passengers on that train line rather than going into central Bedford.
Yeah.
And also to get to the car parks in this field where we're at, behind the camera, will be an enormous slip road. That's
New
the
roads,
word.
new motorway.
Big bridges.
I think what I've seen, and Marcus discussed it with me, maybe yesterday or something, off the A421. I'll put up plans on screen. There'll be a new slip road, and it'll have all of the roads going into here because it's obviously going to have a massive upgrade. Hopefully, it doesn't flood anymore. And we're talking about how big the car park, the sort of City Walk and the park will be. This is actually going to have around 476 acres of land. In comparison, Thorpe Park is about 400 odd, somehow. Towers is about 550. And the whole of Universal Orlando Resort, so obviously not including Epic Universe, that's around 541 acres. So if this is about 480... 540 is only 60 acres off. So this will be about the same size as Universal in Orlando.
Wow.
I think it's crazy. It's going to be huge.
I would call it a vast expanse.
In this vast bit of land, theme park area, what rides do we want to see?
Well, one of the best rides I've ever done in the world was Hagrids, which I did in September for the first time. It shot straight up the list. Even for me personally, I'm going to trigger some people, it was above Velocicoaster. I just love theming.
I've done neither, so I can't say.
The thing about Hagrids is it begs the question if Harry Potter's coming to the UK.
See, I don't think it will.
I think you're right.
A lot of people are saying it has to, but you've got the studio tour in Watford.
Yes.
Here.
Yeah.
You've got the studio tour, plus a lot of people call Universal Orlando Harry Potter World. They just call it that. So to take Harry Potter World and put it here, what's the point? Because then you're just going to lose so much of your audience going over from the UK to Orlando. Everyone will just go, oh, we've got one in the UK, we might as well stay this end.
They don't want to harm their UK audience flying over to Orlando, which I don't think they will.
No.
but they do want to make it unique.
But the thing is as well, with Hagrids, I'm not sure if it's the same manufacturer, but there's a How to Train Your Dragon area opening in Epic Universe. And they've got a multi-launch coaster that looks very similar to Hagrid's. We could see something like that.
Maybe.
But it has a different theme.
Or maybe they just buy King Dakar and put it right there.
Oh, don't even. Big sad. How have we gone on to Six Flags? We're talking about Universal. What's going on?
Universal isn't Universal without Jurassic Park.
Very true, very true.
I would love to see Back to the Future come back to Universal. I think everyone's always dreamed about having a Back to the Future roller coaster where the train looks like a DeLorean.
That would be cool.
Maybe that's just me that's dreamed that.
That would be cool.
That'd be amazing.
I think it's perfect for the UK as well, because I think the UK just seems to love Back to the Future for some reason. I think it would just fit really well here. But like you said, Jurassic Park, I think that's 100%. That has to happen.
Part of me thinks they're going to play it a bit safe. Do what they've basically already been doing. Copy Super Nintendo World over, copy something else over. But they did say that all the attractions will be unique, but I think they're still going to use their same property.
Lord of the Rings is a big rumour as well. That would be really cool to see. I haven't really watched the Lord of the Rings films, sorry to anyone who has.
Boo!
I've heard they're really good though. I've watched the first one.
Continue.
There's just so many different ones they could go for. I mean, in the UK as well, I think they have the rights to James Bond if they wanted to. I don't know if that's true.
Really?
I think so. I've heard a lot about that. And then obviously they have the rights to DreamWorks. So if they made a Wallace and Gromit Curse of the Were-Rabbit area, I would be in heaven. Please.
But please no Fast and Furious.
Oh my God. Themes are cool, but the whole point of the park is if you can't build it, then how are you going to put the themes in? This is a really bad segue. So if you can't build the theme park, then how are you going to build the themes?
There's no way you're rolling with that segue.
Wait. So they're going to have to build the theme park. So when do we think construction, or maybe even the first announcement of this park will be?
I think the first announcement of this park will be when they confirm it.
But when?
I'd be hopeful that leading into next year we could get an announcement that it's confirmed and going ahead. But you can't predict these things. But after confirmation, I guess the real question is how long from that point? Because how long was Epic Universe?
I vaguely remember that being like not even 4 years.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, because I think, personally, going back to the confirmation point, I think once Epic Universe opens in May, there'll be a massive announcement, because that new project is out the way. Let's move on to the next one.
That's a good point.
And Universal aren't like our country, where we want to keep everything a secret and not tell people, oh, this is coming in 2025, this is coming in 2026. But Universal just tell you everything years in advance. Hopefully it starts being constructed, because by the time... How old will you be in 2030? That's supposed to be when it opens.
That's so uncalled for.
So Marcus is going to be about 26 when this opens, and so will I. So 2030 feels so much farther away than it actually is. And it's kind of scary to think that over the next 4 or 5 years, maybe, we will see this entire park. Because I think it will take a bit longer than Epic Universe, because you've got City Walk and car park.
You've got all the infrastructure.
Car park.
Yeah.
Right.
Train station.
Yeah, exactly.
Plane station.
I think it
road
will take
station.
longer. So
windmill station. Do you know what I think is going to be really interesting, Daniel?
What?
Right over this,
Daniel.
Do you know what I think is going to be really interesting, DigitalDan?
What?
I think that
Why are you doing DigitalDan now?
over this hedgerow right here, which the camera can't even see, is a tiny little train line that runs a little 2-car train between Bedford and Bletchley. And it has a stop called Kempston Hardwick, which is exactly in the centre, in between the centre of Universal's land that they've bought. So that tiny little 2-car train is now, right as of this moment, the only train that services the site of Universal. I mean, obviously we talked about the big station that's going to be made, but that's quite funny.
That is actually really funny. Can you imagine if they're still running that when it opens?
Oh, but they have to. They can't close the train.
No, but will they make the train longer?
Nah.
Will they make it bigger?
Nah. Like, they have to extend every platform.
Yeah, true.
The platform for Kempston Hardwick is a tiny little thing in the middle of absolutely nowhere.
That is interesting.
Nah.
We've had tree talk, train talk, and Universal.
Obviously.
And now we just sit and wait for episode 2. Yeah, subscribe to follow along for the journey, and we will be hopefully in the background every time seeing something change. You never know, we could be sat here in 5 years time, which is
With hard hats on.
With hard hats on. There might be a roller coaster back there, which would be crazy. But yeah.
Universal, please collab.